everybody. For those who don't know and are new to the channel, my name's Mark, and behind me is my 1995 Suzuki Bandit GSF 600N. And it's a good old girl. We've done quite a lot of work on this over the months, but one problem we do have, and I've never been able to cure it, which is really annoying, is that the front brake drags. So I've already had the calipers off, totally stripped and cleaned, new genuine components put back on, so new seals, inner and outer. I've also done the slide pins, the little gaiters that go over the slide pins, all that sort of stuff. That was done, still dragged, which was quite annoying. I decided to redo everything again, paying a lot more attention to the inner area where the seal bed's in. Again, it didn't make the slightest bit of difference. I've replaced the brake lines with modern brake lines, and the master's definitely working okay. So I'm kind of thinking that either, the calipers are just buggered, or maybe the pistons are oversized. I mean, what else can it be? Okay guys, well, put the calipers on, bled them through, brakes were still binding. So I'm beginning to think that it's going to be down to doing decent caliper overhaul, because when I've come to check the new ones, or should I say the second-hand ones, the pistons are hardly coming out. So what I've decided to do, the caliper on the bench is one I overhauled not so long ago, so it's had all new seals, pins, everything. So I'm going to take this apart and make this as smooth as silk, all right? And then we'll see how we go. I've already done the other side, but I thought some of you might like to see how to do a caliper strip down rebuild, and how to actually get it spotlessly clean. Okay, it's a big thing. So I'm going to get the compressed air line and get those pistons out. That's one. You notice the other one hasn't come out so easy. So there is potential there for that to be seized. And unfortunately, it's one of these things where you just have to try and manhandle it out. A little bit of a twist frees that up. So that's possibly some of our problem. But we'll sort all that out later. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but there's two black seals in there. One of them is a dust seal. The other one is the main seal that stops the brake fluid bypassing. And I've got to remove those. Blunt scalpel, it's a very thin blade. You can normally, without risk, just flick it under the seal, pull the seal out. Now you can see all that sort of like crud. You might not be able to see it, but that's probably what's causing our problems. These bigger seals are usually a little bit more tricky to get out. A little bit of perseverance, swearing helps. Push the whole thing into the middle and then retrieve it. Yeah, I can see dirt and goo. So they sit into some recesses. You might not be able to see that very clearly. And what happens is the brake fluid, I think, sort of corrodes the metal, and then you get like a crappy goo build-up. So what we'll do, yeah, you can see there all that white, that's corrosion. I think hopefully you can see that all right. So this is the problem, or hopefully going to be the problem. As I say, normally, if I was doing this, I would replace these seals. But because I know the seals are only literally a couple of months old, I'm not going to bother. And if this works and the whole lot frees up, I can always get some new seals. So, next tool in the archive, little Dremel. This is a brass wire brush, not a stainless steel one. And we're going to get all that corrosion and crap out. Okay, so that's the first buzz round. See if we can get that cleaned out a little bit and have a look. Yeah, there's a lot of goo and horrible stuff in there. Right, a little bit of brake cleanup. I'm going to do this outside because it stinks and it's not very healthy for you. Right, I'm back. So, having a first look. One of the real problems is because of the shape of these calipers, because of this bit. It's very hard to get in to clean those channels properly. So I find a bit of a bend in a cotton bud. You can see all that crap comes out. So another tool I've got is this little pick. See, this is what Friday nights are for, folks. All that going out, enjoying yourself. It's not half as good as staining, scratching bits of crap out of aluminium housings. You see, this is why I'm doing it, so you don't have to. Right, let's just give that a quick solution over with our brake cleaner. Blow it out with the airline. So, that's our body pretty much prepared. Next thing, there are cruddy little seals. Let's get these cleaned off. Nice one. Two. Three. Four. All looking in really good condition. So something else I'm going to do is, these are the pistons, and I'm going to give them a clean up. First thing, just get any residual brake fluid off them. Like so. Here I have some 400 grit wet and dry paper, but it's been soaked in oil. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off any rough edges around the outer. Next thing I'm going to do is shove my thumb in. I'm going to give this a light emery all the way around. Now, as you can see, it's not put deep scratches in it or anything, just a very, very light, and it feels so much smoother. Let's get that done to the other one. And these are chrome plated. Chrome's very hard, so I'm not risking really doing any damage at all. There's a little bit of pit in there at the top. I just want to make sure that's all good. Yep, that's that. Right. So this is where maybe my methods differ from other people's. Something a lot of people don't do, but I do. Put something down in this garage. I mean, blimey. It's a tiny little garage. How can I lose it? Oh, let's put it down the other side. What a cock. So this beautiful red glossy stuff is what they call rubber grease. And it's grease that's safe to use on rubber, especially handy for assembling brake components, which is exactly what we're doing. So I don't put too much on, but put a smear of this on. First of all, it's a grease, it will help with assembly. Secondly, it helps stop corrosion starting to form in, blimey, that went in easy, in those grooves. So that's the first one installed. Sometimes, you know, they just fall in, other times you seem to spend like 20 minutes trying to get it to play the game. Right. There's that. This is obviously because I've already done one caliper. I am now an expert at it. So anyway, I toured around Clacton about an hour ago trying to find somebody who sells rubber grease, and believe it or not, it was the local car spray shop that had it, you know. So big shout out to Clacton Panels and Paints, or Paints and Panels, whichever way it was. They had what I wanted when no one else did. Ah, you see, it's always one. Come here. Right, so let's put the lid on so we don't get any dirt in there. Right, so when you drop these pistons in, if you've done the job right, what should happen is they just that feels a bit tight, so the seal hasn't popped out now. Right, they should just glide in. No real pressure on that. Okay, the other thing we are going to do. So, as you know, I think it's that one. I think it's this one. This whole assembly slides. And you might not be able to see it, but in here I've put some rubber grease, but we're just going to put a little bit more in. If you use oil, or if you use a standard grease, it makes rubber swell. That's why you have rubber grease as a separate item. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it doesn't say here, but I believe this stuff's made out of vegetable compound. Let's get that on. Nice. So that's our caliper built. Now I could use copper grease on the back of the pads and everything. I've never really found it very beneficial. So on these particular calipers, so we will try assemble them. That's not the right pin, that is the right pin. But before we do, let's prep this pin. It's really crawly. Okay, so I think now we're ready for our pads. So I'm going to stop it here because I need to take the other caliper off. The other pads are in the other caliper, and I'll be back. Right, so let's get these pads in and get this job finished. Right, we're ready to go and fit this on the bike.